What up, and welcome back to another episode of Gritty Knows Best, baby. That's right. I don't know why I'm even playing the cheer sound effect because we are back from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which I'm not happy about. I wish I was still there. I'm listening to country music right now, eating chicken and waffles, which is actually not even a Southern thing we found out, but anything I could do to feel like I'm back down south. Had an amazing time, which we will also talk about later on. But it was not all sunshine, rainbows, and amazing food for us. Well, actually for Rich, who's joining us tonight, because he made a mistake down there. A $20,000 mistake, which he will talk about a little later on in the show. Let me formally introduce him. Some people call him Pasty. Some people call him Big Rich, Long Haul Rich. But you could just call him Richard Moran Jr. or Pasty. With his crown on his head.
My crown.
With the crown on. We're going to discuss what went down a little later on. But I have some things that we need to talk about first. Number one is I think we have found the comment of the year on the YouTube channel. I don't think anything's going to top this. We get a lot of thoughtful comments that I end up liking or hearting and corresponding with the people, but this happens to be the best. Short, sweet, to the point. It says, I need to do a line of coke with this guy ASAP by Wolf Fior. And this was on a Dr. Pepper taste test video. So out of the blue, so random, and I have no idea what about that video, what about my performance in that video indicated that a line of coke needed to be done with me. Maybe it's because I have the nose. Maybe it was the nose ring, the nose, the leather. Maybe it was the rock and roll-esque attire I was wearing that day, and it just screamed that I like blow. I've never done blow. I've thought about it, but
Do it.
if I do end up meeting you, Wolf, you can do a line of blow, and I will just crack a can of Coke because I will not be partaking. Because right now, you got the fentanyl, you got the trank. I'm not trying to either OD or wake up with a missing hand. So unfortunately, I will not be doing a line, but we can still congregate and hang out. And you have officially won. I mean, I don't know what
Why would
comment.
you wake up with a missing hand?
Because of the trank. You're not listening to the show. That's how we know you're not listening to the show, because we talked about the new drug that is being laced, that is being put into fentanyl, that is being put into other drugs. It is called trank, and when you wake up from doing so, there will be missing parts of your body. There will be missing pieces of your skin. It will turn you into a zombie. Did you not hear about this?
I did hear about it. What show was that? I think I did hear that.
I don't know. We've done like 40 shows this month. Who knows what show it was? Who knows?
I did hear it.
But I refresh your memory.
Yes.
You have been refreshed. So obviously we didn't do any blow when we went to South Carolina, right? Not me and you. Maybe somebody else. Maybe the other guys. I wasn't around for that. So shout out to Wolf. Comment of the year for sure. Maybe we'll send you a trophy or something, because I don't know who is going to dethrone you.
I could have used some maybe, but
yeah, I mean, on the drive. On the drive back.
No, after the $20,000 mistake.
That would have been a better use of your money. Just buy some blow.
Yeah.
You would have got a lot more out of that. Now, you sent me a text this morning about the previous show, and it was pertaining to Clay. What was this text about? Explain this.
So at the beginning of the show, you kept telling him to hold the mic up to his mouth so he could be heard, and he said he was fine because from his his vantage point, the microphone was aimed at his mouth, but it wasn't.
Thank you.
And I had said in the text that Clay sure likes to double down on wrong.
Right. Because you saw him also double down on a wrong perspective at the restaurant.
At the Mexican restaurant.
Is such a trivial event. We will not get into it, but Pastor had my back. I was definitely right, and everybody was against me. But you are with me on this issue as well.
Yeah. And the funniest part of the restaurant was he looked at you and said, "It's not like I'm explaining basic physics to you."
Which,
And that was funny because he was wrong.
thank you. Thank you very much. Clay, you were
Sorry,
wrong.
Clay. It was a pleasure to meet you and all,
But you're wrong.
not a good trend forming here.
Even his mother commented on that episode and said, Clay, you are wrong. Had the shit like over here, shit up here, shit. I mean, even Eddie. Eddie is not good at taking directions, right? And I said, listen, Eddie, I pushed the mic up to his face one or two times.
One time.
And he had it like this. That was it. And then
no, the rest of the time he was conscious of it.
Right. So then we got into a little argument after the show because I played it for him, right? I played him the show. I said, listen to this. And he goes, yeah, it's a little bad, but it's fine. It's all right. And I was like, but why can't you just be at the same level as me? Why can't you be like, why do we have to be at different levels? I don't like that. The audience is not going to like it. Nobody's going to notice. Nobody's going to care. Well, it looks like 2 people noticed. Big Rich noticed. Your mother noticed. Wolf probably noticed. Everybody noticed. Why couldn't we just have the mic at a proper
Wolf
position?
couldn't finish his line of coke.
That's right. You were disturbing Wolf's blow session. You got him out. You blew his high. All right? I don't understand. Clay's a very smart man. Why the microphone could not have been here, and follow. All you got to do, up and follow. But I will say that we had done other things after that, and I noticed he was a lot more conscious of his microphone. He did not want to admit that I was right. I think that was the problem. Because he's very intelligent. But he just didn't want to concede. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Which I can agree with. We have one more thing to talk about before we talk about your blunder, which I use lightly because it could have happened. It happens to the best of them. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm making fun of you here. But everybody knows Jenna Ortega, the new Scream Queen, everybody's favorite new Scream Queen and actress. She's in Wednesday. She plays Wednesday Addams. She's in the new Scream movie and the previous Scream movie. Not a very controversial figure, I would say, but she did stir up a little controversy or ruffle some feathers the other day. Ruffled the feathers of a Netflix producer because she had went on a podcast and discussed her experience working on Wednesday. And when doing so, she had basically said, I'm not going to explain this verbatim, but she basically said, listen, I had to put my foot down a lot on the Wednesday set because I was not a fan of what was going on creatively. Apparently, there were a lot of lines that she felt did not reflect Wednesday as a character, and a lot of situations that also may have been written in that did not reflect Wednesday as a character as well. Wednesday is a very beloved character, and she has very distinct qualities, I would say, likes and dislikes, and apparently this script was not coinciding with that. So she basically said, listen, it was a little unprofessional the way I may have handled things, but I had to rewrite lines. I had to go to war. I had to go to battle. I had to pop off for Wednesday. So one of the Netflix producers, I think his name is Stephen McKnight or something like that. I don't know what the hell his name is. Went on Twitter and said this was unprofessional behavior. She was behaving. The behavior was spoiled and entitled, and there's no room for people like this in the business. Something to that effect, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I can sympathize with somebody saying, listen, you're the actor, you're the actress, whatever you want to say. You get paid to read what is on that script. I can totally sympathize with that. My only problem is I don't see it that way in this case because I'm 100% with Jenna Ortega on this one because this day and age, what is going on right now is these companies are either like leasing, buying IPs, or even IPs of their own. They're taking these already good pieces of material and franchises and then messing them up by changing them and making things opposite and not appeasing the fans at all, and angering most of the fans. We've seen it in Velma. It's happened with you before, right? In like Star Trek or something.
Star Trek, yeah.
Yeah. So what these companies are doing
also
with Doctor Who. So what these companies are doing, they're tampering with already good things, with these IPs that are already beloved. So I can totally see why Jenny Ortega would turn up, because I'm assuming she's a fan of Wednesday. If she's really going to bat for this, she knows what she's talking about. And it shows that she knows what she's talking about, because it was a massive success.
She was brilliant.
Brilliant. You heard it right from Pastor's mouth. He has a crown on his head.
In that role.
Brilliant in the role. And I agree, even though I said I didn't really watch it, I liked what I saw for the time being. I just don't really watch shows. That's my thing.
Can I weigh in on this?
Yeah, weigh in.
So I can get the perspective that the actor is paid to read the lines. However,
yeah,
you're dealing with creative people. If she was a mediocre actress, then I could see making this an issue. But she obviously is a top actress.
Top.
Who wanted to
Big.
Be a part of the creative process to maintain the integrity and the integrity
God, I'm
of
crying about this. See
of
it?
an iconic character.
Iconic.
And my critique of the corporations that are in the entertainment business right now is very bleak.
That's right.
That I would put my faith in blind trust into Miss Ortega over any corporate entertainment company, because of the utter garbage that they've been producing year after year after year after year. Now Netflix has produced some great stuff. All of them have, create great stuff, but you get one or two that rise above the rest, and the rest of it is crap.
That's right. That's right.
And so maybe she was unprofessional, but I mean, please, for a producer to say there's no room for this in the business. I mean, the business, the entertainment business is, a slip and slide of grime, greed, sexual harassment, and profit over people. So, deal with it.
Yeah, like this is the worst thing that's come out of show business. Like Jenna Ortega is the worst thing that's sliming around show business right now. Not even close. I mean, she did so.
Gotten, Harvey Weinstein to shut her up.
Yeah, I mean, and she's doing so well that she was promoted to producer for the next season. So I mean,
really,
obviously she did something right. You got to crack a few eggs. You got to crack a few skulls to get what you need done in this world. She knows what she's talking about. Yeah, she did a fantastic job.
I mean, that series was just spot on, and I hope they can reproduce something as tight as in the second season.
I think they will. If you got Jenna at the helm on the top, I think you will.
Yeah.
And she is apparently going to be in the new Beetlejuice movie as well.
Because really?
Tim Burton was the producer of Wednesday, and I guess he enjoyed working with her so much that he gave her another role.
They're going to remake Beetlejuice.
And I think Tim Burton could agree with her and could sympathize with her, because from what I've heard from her, that he's a perfectionist as well, and he was in there making sure every little, in her own words, she said that he was making sure every little strand of hair on her bang was exactly correct and the way that she wanted. So I don't think he would take any umbrage with her performance or with her with what she did with the script. I think if he had a problem, he would have let her know. He would have been like, "Yo, relax."
Well, I think that they make I think that they're made for each other.
That's right.
I mean, Tim Burton's movies, you can always tell when you're watching something that he's produced, and he's just really good at what he does.
The true artist.
Yeah.
True artist. So I think this guy was out of pocket. I think he was out of line. And I think he's funny because he's a producer for Netflix, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now that she got promoted, it's like, now you're looking back. You're talking about the company's golden egg right now. You got to watch your step. My man might get the axe. You never know. You better relax. So everybody get ready for...
Probably some neoliberal that just wants her to obey.
Yeah. He thinks, he knows the business. He knows more than everybody else and blah, blah, blah. He's coming to the writer's defense as if we haven't seen the writers ruin already well-established IPs over and over again. That was my main point about this. It's we need somebody in there to be like, that's not how this goes. This character does not do this. This is not how we want this. I mean, it's refreshing to see somebody go in and do that. Because we've been disappointed for so long.
I mean, for example, if there are any Star Trek fans out there, they went and they just completely disrupted Star Trek lore with the series Star Trek Discovery. Star Trek Discovery is
the best Star Trek series I ever.
I mean, it's awful. I mean, it really is awful. Except for, I don't know if it's a second or third season toward the end when they bring in Captain Pike and they bring in the Enterprise. Then they spin Captain Pike off into strange new worlds, go back to episodic storytelling. Kind of get back to the old formula, kind of get back. It still has some of the modern or contemporary misgivings I have with the scriptwriters that I don't know who they're hiring. They're just people that don't seem to be able to write a good script. But the scripts were decent with a few holes in them. And the show's been nominated for an Emmy.
Really?
I mean, when you have a formula that works, use the formula.
That's what I'm saying. Why are we reinventing the wheel with these IPs that are already well established? So let's get to it. What the hell happened on vacation?
You're going to change the subject that quick?
That's right. That's what we do here. We got things to do.
Okay.
We're from New
York.
York.
Too deep? Did I go too
No.
far down the rabbit hole?
No.
Okay. Well, I got suckered in by a timeshare presentation.
Which a timeshare, for those that don't know, is what?
Well, a traditional timeshare is that you own a week at like a condominium at a resort. And you own that week and you can go down there every year for that week that you are the quote unquote owner. And but what I went to was a point, like a vacation travel point system where I own points. And what I ended up doing is utilize the South Carolina state law of having 5 days to cancel, and I canceled it.
Right.
But the high intensity, high pressure sales, I succumbed to, and I was going to indebt myself more deeply than I would have liked.
A lot more deeply than you would have liked.
Yeah. And right. there was a specific detail that I could say I missed, but I think there was a specific detail that was glossed over by the man that was presenting my options, and that was that the down payment was going to be put on a credit card for 20% interest. And I thought I had come away from the table thinking that they were rolling that into the loan, which was less interest.
You were getting a loan too?
Well, to pay for the whole package was like $23,000.
Wow. Wait, so you were getting a loan and taking out a credit card?
Yeah.
So you had to pay back the loan and
the credit card.
Oh shit. You had to pay $23,000. Especially you had to pay it by a certain time, or that 20% would have kicked in on the card. for sure. How much?
Yeah, they gave me 6 months with no interest on the credit card.
And what about the loan?
The loan, I think it was a 10-year loan.
Okay, so is there interest on that?
Yes.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow. So you would have ended up paying more than 23,000, probably.
A lot more.
Wow. Now, this is how this started. I was talking to one of the ladies in the office at the timeshare about something, and I walk out, and you and Crow are talking to the lady that let us in and gave us a scoop on the neighborhood. And she was like, "Hey, you're gonna go to this meeting," and I just kind of tuned in around like right now. And she's like, "Okay, so when you go, it's gonna be when it turns an hour and a half. When it comes time that it's an hour and a half, get out of there. It's gonna be a high pressure situation. Look at your stopwatch. Get the fuck out of there at an hour and a half. Get your money and go." And I'm like, what are these guys going to right now? And then we get out, and y'all like, "Oh, we're gonna do a presentation." I'm like, "What is this, Scientology or something?" You're like, "No, it's for the timeshare, and we're gonna get $200." So I said, "Oh, you're gonna get $200? That's great." I was like, "Man, I wish I was at the table because there's only could be two guys, only two people from the timeshare." So I was like, "Fuck, I wish I was out there with Pastor instead of Crow, because then I would have been able to do it." But that, obviously it's gonna be Crow because he was there to get he was there to hear it. So whoever was with you was obviously going to do. There's no dispute about that. There's going to be no fight about that. You know what I mean? I don't know if Crow would have ended up fighting about that. But if I was with you when we heard, and if he was somewhere else, it would have been me. You know what I mean? I think it's only fair if it goes like that. But I was also happy that I wasn't there, because then I would have been like, nah, I gotta basically miss time. And we had a whole day planned the next day, 2 podcasts and a couple of videos planned the next day. So you guys go. And it's me, Clay, and EJ waiting for you. We did a podcast, and now we're kind of waiting for you because you said you're only going to be an hour and a half to do the second podcast and then go on with our day doing 2 other videos. Time goes on, tick, 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 and we're like, what the hell is going on? And then we start thinking like, yo, somebody got suckered in, because it is way too long. Like, by hour 3, we're like, yo, somebody is going into debt right now. We thought it was Mo. That was what we were laughing about it. Like, yo, Mo is definitely on the phone with his girl right now. Like, yo, let me get your mother's social security number. We're going to check her credit line. Like, we thought he was signing up for some crazy shit. We thought he was going into massive debt. And then how long were you really there for? 5 hours?
Something like that, yeah.
It was insane. I mean, we were just like, what? We were starving. We were like ready to jump out of the room. I mean, I had my card, but there's really nothing for us to do then. We were waiting to see what you guys wanted to do so we can continue with the work. And then you come back and you're like, you got the timeshare, and I'm like, okay, this is probably not that bad. Then you start explaining to me what is going on, and my eyes immediately glaze over. You're like, well, you get these points, and then like, if I want to go here, I can do this, and if I want to go here, I can do that. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. I'm like, because this is so confusing. They probably confused the fuck out of him. And then I'm like, there's almost no downside to this that I hear, which is not a good sign in my mind. I'm like, you're not mentioning anything bad. Like, you didn't really say, like, the only thing that's not good is this or like that. So I kind of imagine that the full scope of this was not digested by you, you know? And not to say you're wrong, because what I told you once you came to your senses is that these people are straight killers, and that's their job is to, I mean, when we talk high pressure, it's not exactly what you would think high pressure. It's not like they're trying to, it's not like they're urging you to do it. It's like soft pressure. Like, they get you from all angles, and they make you think that you're really missing out on a big opportunity if you leave, and they're being so nice to you.
They make that clear.
Yeah, like if you don't,
everything that this is off the table, this is off the table.
Right.
If you say no today.
Right. and they're really making it seem like they're working with you because, you know, they're good people and they want you to have this. Like, I mean, they're getting you on all fronts. It's not like a terrorist negotiation or something. Like, it's a lot of soft pressure going on, and they're killers. They're animals. This is what they do. This is what they live for. They live for blood. And I was like, man, these guys went into the fucking wolves den. Like, you guys got had. And I
was watching the time, and I had every intention on walking out of there. But I'm like, this is really cool.
That's where they got you. And I'm like I said, it wasn't your fault because these people are sick. This is what they do. You know what I mean? It's what they breathe for.
I really wish I'd never gone because, you know, when we were talking about it, you were like, you know, I said, I'll never do it again. He's like, hey, you got to do it again for the $200. And now, you know, and you can walk out. You know what? The thing that is most precious to me at this point in my life is not money. It is time.
Right.
And even if I was there for an hour and a half, I wanted to get to know Clay better. I wanted to get to know EJ better. I wanted to do a podcast with EJ, and I sacrificed that time. That $200, which is really only $160 because I had to spend a lot of money to send certified mail and overnight mail to make sure that they got my cancellation.
Right. Well, it wouldn't have been if you didn't do it. You can't really say that.
Right. But
it would have been 200 bones.
Say the $200 that time that I denied myself was not worth $200. It was priceless. And, you know, at some point I'll stop beating myself up. But right now I have a chip on my shoulder. Those people can go somewhere. And
did they give you free stuff like coffee?
They ruined part of my vacation.
Did they give you free stuff like coffee and desserts and stuff when you got there?
Yeah, the coffee, a bad sub.
Oh man,
yeah,
they got you.
A crappy sub.
I don't agree with you because it was only. I'm big on time. I'm Mr. I want to really get all my. I want to use my time wisely. Like I'm all about time over money, but I cannot agree with you because an hour and a half to do literally nothing and you get $200, I would have took it. I would have definitely took it. I'll take that at about, I can't say at any point in my life, but right now, if you're like, listen, go in this room, they could have shown me anything. They could have given me any kind of presentation and I would have just sat there and listened and walked right out. $200 is $200.
Yeah.
It's not 60.
And when I was talking to Pastor Simmons, he does these things all the time.
He'll sit there and get the money.
And he'll say, I can't make any decisions without my wife. He's out the door.
Right. You should have went with him.
Yeah.
You went with Crow.
But I got suckered.
You and Mo didn't create a plan or a scheme beforehand?
We should have.
Right. He was into it.
They already thought we were a gay couple to begin with.
That's right. They thought you were a gay couple, right?
Yeah.
Because
I don't know. They're just like, oh, are you guys a couple? And we're like, what?
Oh, man. And we said you guys should have said yeah.
Laughing and yeah.
You should have said yeah because you might have got like a brochure. You could have got like a modeling deal out of it. They would have loved an interracial gay couple on the brochure for the timeshare.
Right.
You guys should have totally done it. You would have made.
We should have just said yeah.
Yeah, you would have made some good coin out of that. Yeah, again, I can't agree that you shouldn't have went because I would have totally went, but. And I don't think you should feel that bad because have you ever done one of these before?
No.
You've never done one. And these people, this is what they do. They wake up every morning to cut throats. And you were just another throat. Another throat that had no idea what was coming. I mean, the thing that really got me, though, was the lady that was working for them told you straight up. Like, that's what scared me when we walked out. I was like, what are you guys going to go do? Because she's like, yo, an hour and a half, get the fuck out of there. And I'm like, whoa, what are they about to go into right now? That's the one critique I have is you did not listen to whatever her name was. Mm-hmm. She told you guys straight up, you guys bit the bait. What exact moment did they have you in the palm of their hand? What really got you?
we started eating lunch, and we meet the person that's going to work
Hmm.
with us. I mean, she was really, I mean, she seemed really cool,
Of course.
and of course she did. And then we went into this presentation, which was really ridiculous. I mean, if they had stopped there, I would have gone, goodbye, give me my $200, because it was pointless. I felt it was pointless. It
Right.
didn't inspire me. It didn't inspire any curiosity in me. Um, you know, but just to touch on some of the psychology of this presentation.
Oh yeah.
Um, like you're like buying like 300,000 points, not 30 points, not 300 points,
Yeah, they
not
make
even
it. They
3,000,
got to make it grand.
300,000.
Yeah, they got to
It's
make
just
a
like,
big.
oh, I'm
Yeah,
getting all this,
they
right?
make you think you're getting so much for your money.
So once she starts explaining it, um, you're like, well, this doesn't really sound that bad. I mean, it really sounds really cool. And the one thing that really attracted my attention was these things called go weeks,
Oh yeah, that was.
which you could, you know, go to these specific places for like $249 a week. And like those seem to be the most accessible to, like say to a friend, well, if you want to go to any of these places, just let me know. And I'll charge you, say, $750 for the week. And so then I'm profiting, like about $500,
Right.
which would help me pay for my ownership of these
Right.
points.
Right. Make some money back. Make a profit.
And so, I mean, they talk out both sides of their mouth. Like, like they kind of like criticizing people that would sign up for this plan to do it for like rental income, but they're like planting that in your head that you could use this
Yeah.
to make money.
They were like, we don't. It's illegal, but people do it, and we really don't check on it like that.
Yeah, it's like
People
wink, wink, nod, nod.
people
But then you
do
get
it.
to the closing, and they're recording the closing, and you say on tape, "I'm not getting this for rental income."
Oh my god.
So I mean, where does that leave you? So some guest of yours goes crazy, and then you're liable for
Yeah.
for the
It's on your
unit,
name.
or somebody sues you because they don't have a good time. Well,
Right.
you can't insure yourself because you said on tape that you're not doing this for rental income.
Right. So
So
yeah.
they're telling you yes, they're like wink, wink, nod, nod. You can make some money off of this, but really,
It's another
when
incentive. They're giving you as many incentives as they can.
yeah, yeah.
And what I told you is like, no matter what you get, always know they're going to get more out of it. They're going to get more out of that deal. Whatever grand thing they promise you, however many things, they will always come out on top. That's what you always got to know in a situation
Right.
where people are trying to sell you something. They're always going to be coming up somehow. There's always going to be a come up on their end. So you seemed into it. You seemed very into it, and I wasn't really thinking too much about it when you gave me the presentation, probably because I was not paying attention at all. But you seemed happy with it, and then all of a sudden, things took a left, and you were not happy with your decision. What was that about? What triggered that?
Well, I just one was my father's reaction to it,
Yeah, I heard that.
and then
It was very subtle.
yeah, and then once I really thought about it and realized that I had missed the detail about the down payment, I'm like, this is I'm going to be living to pay this off.
Right, living for the vacation.
Yeah.
Better really enjoy that timeshare.
And then once I came to my senses, I'm going through some major changes this spring. About, well, I mean, I'll just say what I'm doing. I haven't said anything on camera or microphone about it, but I'm leaving the AME church.
Right. You're leaving the church that you are pastoring currently
Yes.
in about a month and a half.
And, actually me leaving is going to save me some money.
That's right.
Um, and, here, I potentially just sacrificing the ability to maybe put some more money away. And,
Oh, yeah.
it just didn't make sense. It just
yeah.
got swept up in this.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You got intoxicated by the urgency of the moment, by the heat of the moment. And like I said, it happens to the best of them. It happens to the best of them. And you have utilized the 5 days that you had to cancel, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And they have they hit you back with the official cancellation kind of confirmation?
No, I haven't heard anything yet.
Right.
But it said to notify him within 5 days with certified mail. I talked to a family member who's an attorney, and she had me send the certified mail as well as overnight, which I requested a signature. And so they've been advised twice.
Right. That you do not want to partake.
Yeah.
Right. So it's over pretty much.
Yeah. Hopefully there's no games that will be played, and that, they got what they feel they need, and I get out of it because I needed to get out of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now you can save yourself some money, save yourself some time, some headache or heartache, because you were pretty wound up about it afterwards, which rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. Big decision in a short amount of time. That's how they get you. Yeah, you can't get this amazing deal if you walk out right now. You'll never get this again. But you probably could have called them like a week later and said, hey, I went to that timeshare meeting. Can you do anything for me? They're probably like, oh, you know what? We never do this. We never do this. But let me work some things out. And they would have done it again.
Yeah,
I guarantee you they would have done it again. These people are savages. This is what they do. So, it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
But you did have some fun on the vacation, did you not?
I did.
Other than this chaos, how did you enjoy your vacation?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed both you and Mo. Pause.
Yeah, pause that big time.
And I was glad to be able to facilitate the trip so y'all could have your reunion,
Right, because we reunited with EJ.
Yeah.
Everybody got to see EJ, which is what we went mostly for. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed meeting EJ and Clay, and I just drew a blank on her name.
And
What's her
Aunt
name?
Cheryl. The wonderful Aunt Cheryl.
I wanted to call her Lorraine, and I knew that was
definitely
wrong.
Not Lorraine.
This is Cheryl. But it was nice to be in Myrtle Beach.
Even though it was cold.
Even though it was cold. The beach. I mean, we used to vacation there when I was a kid and a teenager, and some things looked familiar, some things looked new.
Right.
And, just to hear the roar of the ocean,
We were right on the ocean. Our room was right on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have thrown something, it would have landed right in the water.
Yeah.
We were right there.
And, going to Waffle House, enjoyed that.
Right. We went to Waffle House, which we discussed on the previous episode, which we went twice. We ended up going right before we left and still loved it.
I gotta say that's now my favorite place to go to breakfast.
Wow. We don't have them here, so you can't really partake.
No.
Which sucks.
No, but it's delicious. I mean, that waffle was great.
It was the best waffle I ever had.
Yeah.
Hands down, no contenders at all. What was that your best meal that we had down there yet? Because we had many meals.
No, I don't know. I had said the other day it was the Mexican restaurant, the
Senor Frogs on the boardwalk. Yep.
Yeah. But I don't know. That meal at the Medieval Times, that chicken was really good.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that chicken was
There's
good.
no way you're going to say the Medieval Times meal was better than Senor Frogs. Not saying that Medieval Times was bad at all. I thought it was great. I'm going to go on record and say that we did not have a bad meal the whole trip, which is rare. Because when we went to Ithaca, I had my complaints. We had complaints. Pretty much every vacation, we went to at least one place. We were like, oh, my God, like, why? Why did we do that? This one, we had a great meal at every single place, which we will discuss at length in just a moment. But you're going to go on record right now. Is that why you're wearing your crown?
Well, I just thought I'd wear the crown because this is from Medieval Times.
Right. That was the best meal you had. We had a piece of chicken, which was great. As soon as you cracked the leg off it, I mean, juice was flying everywhere. It was like juice was coming out of it.
I really enjoyed that chicken.
The
so
chicken was great.
It's a toss-up between the two.
Right. And we had the potato that was really good, a baked potato.
To be honest with you, with Senor Frog, I did not like the menu. And thank goodness that you
didn't like the menu. It's
I
Mexican
reconsidered the shrimp tacos because that saved lunch. They were very good.
What were you gonna have?
I forgot, but I really wanted. When I eat Mexican food, I like a beef burrito. That's what I wanted.
I did notice there was no beef. Me and Cheryl did take umbrage with that there was no beef. But our steak taco was great.
And the decor was stupid.
The drums hanging from the ceiling?
The drums hanging from the ceiling where there were the lampshades, and it's like a corporate restaurant designer vomited in that place.
Oh, the leftovers. No, it was great. You're bugging out. The menu was nice. Wow, I can't believe it. But I was going to say...
if I saw Senor Frog, I would not go in.
I was going to say, to finish what we were talking about Medieval Times, we had a roasted potato. We had... tomato soup was great. And then we had really the eclair.
The
eclair was phenomenal. I don't even like dessert. I said, I'm going to take a bite of this just to see how it is, and I ended up killing it. It was a big eclair, too. It was really cold in the middle, but I had to ask for another potato. That killed it a little bit for me because I'm eating the chicken, I'm eating the tomato soup with the garlic bread, which was really good, and I don't even like tomato soup. That was the first time I even had tomato soup, to be honest, and I liked it because it was thick. But I took a bite of my potato, and whoa! I have never had anything in my life that salty. It was like a salt bomb. A salt grenade went off in my fucking mouth. It was crazy. I was like, yo, and I gave it to you and Mo to try it, and you agree, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even think I gave you as hearty of a piece as I took. That was crazy. I had to go to the waitress and be like, yo, I don't know if you could do this, but you have to give me another one because this is killing me right now. Like, it was like they weren't even doing it to season it. They were doing it to preserve it. Like if it was really medieval times. Like if they're like, we have to preserve. Yeah, there's no fridges anymore right now, so we have to preserve this potato in salt. That's what it tasted like, and it was horrendous. But then they gave me another one, and it was awesome. It was a great meal. The chicken was juicy as hell. I mean, you cracked the chicken the leg off, and juice was everywhere, all over the plate. I never had a chicken that juicy in my life. That's one thing I will say about South Carolina. Everything was juicy down there. The burgers were juicy. I mean, the food was amazing. The food, I was so upset when I came back because I'm like, wow, I am not going to eat like that for a long time. There's just no way. There's just no way. I can't even think of what my favorite meal would be from there. But I will tell you that the Hooters that we went to down there was way better than the one in North Carolina when I went with my parents. I mean, the fried pickles were about the same, but the burger I had, way better. The chicken wings I had, way better. Like, that's the real Senor Frogs and Hooters are the two that really stand out in my mind. And I was like, wow. And the first time I said I went to Hooters, I was like, I liked the whole experience, but the meal was like, all right. It wasn't amazing. But this one, I gotta say, we went twice only because of me. I was like, we got to go twice. So now let's talk about the competitor that we had no clue about. There is a competitor, and I don't even know if I could use the word rival to Hooters, that we had no idea of. And I'm glad you went to the timeshare meeting because we wouldn't have known about it unless you went there.
Right. We wouldn't have never known about it.
Because I texted Pastor. Yeah, I texted Pastor while they were doing their Scientology meeting, which honestly would have been better. If you guys would have came back and said we converted to Scientology, I'd have been like, all right, I could see that. That's better than dropping 25 grand on some go weekends. On some.
Well, it wouldn't be. I don't think it would have been better because you're not supposed to leave that at all.
Right. Well, people do. People do. You would have met Enoch. You would have been sleeping on the floor on the first tier, and they would have took you in the room, and you would have saw Enoch. But you went to that meeting, and you told the guy that you were going to go to Hooters again, and because we had went like the day before or something like that. Yeah. And the guy told you, no, Hooters is ratchet. You got to go to Twin Peaks. Way better girls working there. So I was like, all right, we got to see it. We got to see what's up. It was basically a upgraded Hooters, the guy said. More classy, he said, right?
Right.
So we go. And I will say, immediately when we walked in, I was like, wow. The staff there were definitely the staff were a 10 out of 10. I mean, my neck was hurt after that. My neck was hurting after that. And they didn't have exactly the same uniform, right? It was kind of the same. Different. Yeah. It was like the same vibe. It was like a more bar vibe than Hooters. How would you describe it? It was more of like a...
What, their attire?
The whole vibe of the restaurant. It was like
the whole vibe of the restaurant?
It seemed more like a bar than Hooters. Hooters seemed like more of a bar and grill. But this one feel like I was really at a bar. It was darker.
It's hard to say. I mean, it's just it was so much bigger.
So much bigger. Yeah.
And where in Hooters, you're seated around the bar. I mean, even though we were in booths.
Yeah. Well, the bar that one I will say that there was another part of Hooters that we weren't at though. We didn't have to be there. We could have been on the other end. That's what I was telling Mo too, because he was like, "It's louder." And him like, "No, it's not louder. It's we're sitting closer to the bar." I mean, Twin Peaks was definitely bigger. But if we didn't want a booth, we could have sat on the other end. We would have been nowhere near the bar. We could have done that.
All right, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I like Twin Peaks for everything better than Hooters except the food.
Right. The attire was way more revealing for sure.
Yeah.
Hooters gets a rap for having skimpy attire. Twin Peaks was way skimpier. Like they were showing way more skin at Twin Peaks. It was right off the bat. You could see that. But it
didn't. For some reason, it didn't. It was somehow more tasteful.
You think so?
Yes, I do.
I don't agree. I'm not saying it was distasteful, but I'm not saying it was like... I could see what he's saying. It's more of an upscale version, like you feel like you're going to pay more by being there. That's what I would say. I feel like I feel like I'm paying more by being there, but I don't feel like it's classier. Okay. I can kind of see what he's saying. You know what I mean? I think it's more of like an expensive place to go, I would say, with more revealing outfits.
If you were going there to meet the guys to like watch, some kind of tournament or something.
Yeah.
I mean, the screens and the positioning of the screens were far superior.
A lot of screens.
Hooters.
A lot of screens all over the restaurant. And like you said, the place was huge.
Yeah.
It was.
And I wanted to have a drink, but I don't normally drink. And I was in the mood for something sweet, and the bartender came out from behind the bar to help me decide. and she made me a drink, and it was fantastic.
This was like watching them try to solve a murder mystery. Get him his drink. I mean, he is really condensing the story here, but I mean, he said he wanted a drink, and she was like, "What kind of drink?" And he was just naming things that this waitress had no idea even existed. She was like, "What?" And he's like, "Can I get a a blah 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 blah?" And she's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, I used to drink it back in the day over here at this bar."
I still don't understand how they did not have a bottle of Bailey's Irish cream.
That I don't get.
Behind that
bar. I don't get. I don't know how they didn't have Irish cream, but the other stuff you were asking for, nobody heard about. Everybody was like, "What are you talking about?" So then she's like, "This is when it got good."
For was Uzo or Sambuca. Right. I mean, come on. I mean, I don't know. Maybe down south they don't have it.
You were getting too fancy. You should have ordered the Bloody Mary and see, and then you could have then you could have tested how it compared to the Hooters Bloody Mary.
No, the Hooters Bloody Mary was terrible.
I wish I would have thought about it now, but I wish I would have just bought you the Bloody Mary to see how you liked it better than Hooters, just so we can get the comparison. I wish I would have did that. But what was cool was you went to the bathroom and the waitress came back with the bartender to make you a certain drink. And they're cracking the code. They're writing fucking notes. Well, do you like oranges? You're like, nah, I don't like that. And they're like, well, would you like this? And you're like, yeah, I like that flavor. Is there any flavors you don't like? I don't like peppermint. I don't like this. I mean, and these people went back with lab coats and black gloves.
She said lemon. And I'm like, oh, I love lemon.
Yeah. And then they went back.
That's when she disappeared.
She went, put the goggles on. You saw the fucking... You saw the smoke coming out from the bar, and they came back with this lemonade, this sour lemonade that you loved.
It was so good.
So
good.
That you got to give them big points for just tailoring a drink.
Yeah, and I felt bad that she must have got off her shift or something because when we left, I wanted to give her a nice tip, and I couldn't find her.
Right. Yeah, that was sad. I was hoping you were able to hook her up and give her a nice tip, but it wasn't meant to be that night, I guess.
Right.
So that I will say was great. But so we talked about the ambiance, which was, I would say the ambiance was great.
Yeah.
The service was good. It was good. It was good to look at, and the service was good. It was just good. They were very friendly, and they hooked you up. But the food, I would say, was right. Fries. I got fries and a burger. Now, I had previously got a burger the day before at Hooters, so I was ready to compare. The burger at Hooters, definitely better. I would say Twin Peaks was the weakest meal we've had in South Carolina. Would you agree?
I would say so.
Wow, we agree.
Yeah.
See what happens when Mo's not around? We can just agree.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even talk about this. So then, before that, we get the fried pickles because we had to compare because we know that the Hooters fried pickles are phenomenal. So we said, let's try this. Our lovely waitress brings the tray on site. I said, no. I could see how skinny they were. I could see the char. They didn't have a fluff. I said, this is not good. Took a couple bites. Out of here. Boo. You agreed.
Yeah.
Gave one to Mo. It's great. As usual.
I first started saying they're pretty good. Because I was just like, I just liked the place in general better.
It was, if I wasn't there, it would have been the same thing as the timeshare. You were getting intoxicated. I had to slap you back to reality. You would have come back like, oh, Twin Peaks, best meal I had. You were going to get hypnotized. You thought I would be the one to be like that. You thought I would have came out like, oh, that place was awesome. But no, I was in the zone on the food. I was not being distracted by the waitresses. Only a little bit. But once the food came, I was all business. And now those pickles, the worst fried pickles I have ever ingested. And I have never had a fried pickle that I said I would never eat this again. Never. We've had them from Hooters. We've had them from TR, Texas Roadhouse. We had them at what was that place we just went to? I always forget the name. Cracker Barrel.
Oh, Cracker Barrel, yeah.
These, I've even had ones from the freezer. These were terrible. Mo loved them as usual. Yeah. Loved it. She loves it all. The guy just hasn't met a meal he doesn't like. If we can, I mean, is that a true statement there?
Yeah.
How often have we went out and he said, I wasn't feeling this?
Right. No.
Never. So the burger was good, but it was like whatever. Mm-hmm. It was whatever. So I would say that was the weakest part of Twin Peaks was the food, but the service was great. I mean, even I was like, hey, can I get a sweet tea to go? And I had a full one right in front of me. And she was like, do you want me to dump this in a cup or you want me to make you a fresh one? And I was like, oh, if you want to make me a fresh one, you can. And that's what she did. She could have just grabbed that sweet tea, dumped it in a cup, threw it my way. She said, no, I'm going to give you a fresh one. Even though this one is not even close to being done, we're going to hook you up.
Right.
So Twin Peaks in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, I'm going to say it's an awesome place. Besides the fried pickles, it was worth it. I didn't go out there being like looking at the bill. Some places we went to, I was not there, but there were some places we went to where I was like, I don't think I got my money's worth here. You got your money's worth at Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
You got your money's worth.
I got teriyaki wings, and I really did like the way the wings were cooked.
Yeah.
But there wasn't much teriyaki on them.
Really? It was light.
I mean, it was good chicken, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So then I go, now we got to go to a real joint. We got to go to Hooters, which is right down the street. Like, I could have walked from Hooters to Twin Peaks. And with that knowledge in my mind, though, I was saying this at the table while we were eating. I was like, you know what would be really fun? Because I was like, we're going to go to Hooters after this, which Pastor probably went, oh, my God. Like, can we just go home? But once I remember that Hooters was right down the street, I was like, you know what we should do? Let's go back there. And when we order the food, let's talk to our waitress and be like, hey, we were just over there at Twin Peaks. We weren't really feeling it, which is why we're here. But the ladies in there were talking wild shit about y'all. They were saying that, Hooters is the D-League. Y'all couldn't make it in Twin Peaks. You guys couldn't wear the uniform. They're saying that you guys are walking around with zero confidence. You guys are dropping stuff. I mean, they were talking heavy crap about you guys. I'm just saying that I'm a Hooters guy. I'm just letting you know what was being said down the way. And then we would have seen what would have transpired after. Maybe there would have been a Hooters versus Twin Peak parking lot brawl. Mm-hmm. We don't know. But I would just thought, let's go over there and start some problems. Let's spark some beef. Maybe we can get a Twin Peaks girl on 1 week on the show. We can get a Hooters girl 1 week. Maybe have them battle it out. Have them do a debate. Who got the best this? Who got the best that? I'm just going to say this. I mean, the only thing Twin Peaks got on the girls is like the uniform. Like, really? But other than that, I'm a Hooters guy. Through and through. Like, even though they got a little bit of an edge, I'm going to say it's not even worth it because once I step back into Hooters after going to Twin Peaks, I forgot all about Twin Peaks after we stepped in Hooters. It all erased from my mind. I mean, we had the best waitress in the joint, and everything just fell out of my ear, and I was like, we're home. We're here. This is the place.
We're home.
This is the place to be. Hooters is the best. I mean, it just got that feel to me, that original. It has that Southern feel to it too. You know what I mean? Like it has the NASCAR. It has the Southern music going on. I mean, it did have some pop music too, but there was no blondes in Twin Peaks. I didn't see a blonde at all. There's definitely plethoras of blondes at Hooters.
Right. Yeah.
And
now that you say that, that's probably one of the reasons I preferred Twin Peaks.
You're not a blonde guy.
No.
What?
No, blonde, blue eyes, nope.
You're not a fan of the blonde and blue eyes?
Mm-mm.
Absurd. Absolutely absurd. No, I'm definitely a fan of that, and Hooters is definitely good for that, and especially that restaurant right there. I also liked our waitresses at Hooters. I thought they did a great job, although they were definitely dropping stuff like crazy. I mean, it was both days. Remember that?
Yeah.
We went day one. We went clang, clang. I mean, shit was falling all over. We were like, what is going on? And then the next day we go in. I mean, a whole different waitress too, but dropping shit in the same spot too. Right when they went to that area, I guess where they were pouring drinks or something. It wasn't by the bar, but it was like, I don't know if they had like the fountain drinks there, because that's where my sweet tea came from. I think it was like they had butter, or they just mopped right there. Because every time a chick went there, swoop, blah, blah, cups was flying in the air. It was crazy. It was nuts. It was a show for sure. But Hooters is just a 10 out of 10. Got the best feel, got the best women. The food was phenomenal. It just cannot be dethroned. Twin Peaks put up a great fight. They really tried their hardest. They even tried in proximity. They even had a bigger establishment, like when you went there, it looked like you were going to medieval times. The place was huge, big lights. Hooters was really unassuming. Just a little joint, and that's how I like it. If ratchet is what you want to call it, that's what I like. And I even said it when the guy said that, right? You said, we shouldn't go to Hooters because it's ratchet. I was like, well, that's what I like. That's where I want to go. That's why I like Waffle House. That's what I don't feel comfortable in a place that's too grand. I don't feel comfortable in a place that I feel like is going to be too upscale for me. Are you you are more of an upscale person, I'm assuming?
Well, not necessarily. But I don't know what to say. I just prefer Twin Peaks.
Why?
I was more comfortable there.
What made you comfortable? The outfits?
I don't know. I just like the place in general.
I cannot empathize with you whatsoever.
And to say that Hooters food is phenomenal, I think
at
is
that
an
one establishment, because the one in North Carolina, I was like, whatever. Like I had the same vibe as I got at Twin Peaks, where I was like, I don't know, like if I would eat this again.
Okay.
But when we went there, I was like, definitely eating this again. And to be fair, that establishment, that particular one in North Carolina, has closed down. Okay. So I'm sure it was dead. So I'm sure everybody there was unenthused, and the chef may have been just checked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the South Carolina food in general was good. So it was just something something over there. Yeah. Something in the blood of the chefs. So I'm going Hooters all the way. Is there any other competitors? Is anybody going to step up? I think there might be, but there's really no Twin Peaks on the East Coast. We didn't see, I looked up, I did some zip code checking. I didn't see them anywhere else.
Okay.
So I would go back, though, to try the chicken wings. Right. But Hooters is number one. You just can't beat it. You can't beat it. I don't know what you're talking about. The problem is you just get swept up in the moment. That's what you got conned by Twin Peaks. That's what it was. Same way as a timeshare. The environment got you. I don't know. We need to see what's up with you.
Yeah.
We need to see what's up. But yeah, that might have been my favorite meal there. Maybe I think maybe Senior Frogs was, though. If I had to be real, that steak taco was great.
Okay,
that was great. So that was pretty much our vacation. We just ate. That's all I remember was eating, and that's all I went down for was eating. Any highlight you want to bring up before we wrap this up?
Well, a couple things. One was that you did a spicy chicken challenge.
Can't really talk too much about that, so tread lightly. Tread very, very lightly.
Well, let's just say that. Well, can I say how Mo reacted?
No. Afterward? We already talked about that, though, so we could skip that.
Okay.
We talked about him stripping naked in the bathroom of the gift shop and vomiting and shitting.
Okay.
So if you haven't heard that, go listen to episode, not before this, the Scream 6 review episode. But that's what it was. We didn't talk about medieval times. So we did go to medieval times. We didn't really talk about our experience there. I will say, for me, the best part of medieval times was the food, because I'm not a medieval guy. I don't really, I always wanted to go, and it's funny that you brought us there, because I was just texting with somebody about that 2 weeks before we left, and I was saying I want to go to medieval times just because I've never been. And I thought we were going to get a turkey leg, but we got a chicken, which I was not upset about once I took a bite.
Okay.
But once you got to the show, I liked the horses. When they brought the horses out and they did the tricks, they could have ended it right there, and we could have just ate and left. The sword fighting was cool. It was whatever. But out of the things I like, medieval is not one of them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's not that it was a bad show. It was just not my vibe. The crowns, the swords. I'm not a fan. But you were.
I was. I really enjoyed it. The fighting is, heavily choreographed, and some of the guys, really, you could really see they were going through the motions.
You've been there, done that, yeah.
Choreography, but I loved all of it. I mean, what do you want? Do you really want people fighting to the death? I don't want to see that.
That's what you want.
And I just wish that I could have heard the play that was unfolding.
The dialogue.
The queen, was having that dialogue with Cedric. I really wanted her to condemn him to death, and for them to, chop his head off, because I thought Cedric was annoying. But
without going too much into detail, because the people just didn't see the show, and you won't see the show, is that I thought
the queen and her assistant, and then the guy that was out on, in the arena, kind of supervising all the jousting and
you didn't like him.
The games. I liked him. But the dialogue between him and the queen and Cedric, it was hard to hear
for you.
That sound system.
I think it was for you. Honestly, because I heard every word. And
oh, you did?
I heard everything. I couldn't understand some of what they're saying because they were speaking in fucking Shakespeare, though.
Okay.
So, there was one point where the guy was talking shit to the queen. I don't know what he was talking about. But I was a little disappointed because when he started popping off to the queen, I thought she was going to come down and kill him herself. I thought she was going to come down with a sword, so I was getting ready. I was like, oh, the queen's about to come down and fight this dude. And then they just sent out another night. So maybe they need to update the show and have the queen come down and chop this dude up, because that would have been a good twist. I was getting ready for that. She was like, don't be talking to me like that. I'll have your head right now. And he's like, do it. I don't care. I'm a badass. She's like, oh, word. Okay. We're going to see. I'm like, oh, it was about to get good. She's about to come down. And then they just send out the freaking green knight or something like that. And then they just,
no, it was a yellow knight.
They just sent out the yellow knight and they just fight. Yeah. And that was it.
It was good though. It was good.
The horses were the best.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was
Atlas.
I really enjoyed it.
Atlas was the best horse. Prancing all over the place, jumping up and down. They could have literally ended the show there. And then I picked the wrong seat because Mo was screaming the whole time as if it was real. You were entertained.
Came out. It was
you
great.
were entertained. I was so not. That's how I know.
Blood.
That's how I know. That's how I know you're hard of hearing, because he was killing my ears. I had to turn around. I was like, yo, you are hurting my ears. Shut up. He was screaming in my ears. That I wish I sat next to your dad or your mom or something. I wish I would have sat in the middle. I really wish, because he was. I was like, not only is the show kind of boring, but then this dude is just ruining every part of it. Besides, I can't even. The only reason I couldn't hear some of the dialogue is because of him. There was some parts where I was like, they're talking. Shut up. But you enjoyed that aspect.
I enjoyed it very much.
No, I was not a big fan. I would probably, if we went to medieval times there, I would go there again, because I know the dish is going to be slamming there. But if we were at some other joint, some other state, and you're like, you want to go to medieval times, I'd probably be like, I mean, if you're paying, I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
It's a free meal. I'll go. But if I got to throw down, probably not. I'll skip it. Only reason I wanted to go is because I saw there was a movie called The Cable Guy that Jim Carrey was in when I was a kid. I used to watch all the time, where he's like, he plays a cable guy who's like, becomes obsessed with his client, and they went to medieval times. So ever since then, I wanted to go since I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
So now I've scratched that itch, and I want to go. But you loved it.
I loved it, and I was talking to Pastor Simmons about vacation. He's gone and seen it at the same place,
Right?
Recently, as within this last year. He really enjoyed it. Raved about the chicken also.
Yep.
But also had gone to the Opry and saw the Christmas show.
Oh, they have a Christmas version?
Yeah. Well, there's another building near that building we were in. And he said that was really fantastic. So could I see myself going again? Maybe, but there's plenty of other things to experience too.
Like Hooters.
I'm glad that I did the medieval times.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad we did go. The picture they took of it was nice.
I would go see something else though.
Right.
Yeah.
We could just go to Hooters again and again and again and again.
Well,
and again and again. I could go every day.
So the other thing I wanted to bring up was my last purchase on our trip,
which was Cracker Barrel.
Yeah,
Cracker Barrel was great too. Oh my God! First of all, let me just say that I didn't know Cracker Barrel's food was that good, but it's great. This man bought a freaking toy dog. For what reason? What is this? The audience cannot see what this is, but this is like a mechanical dog toy, and it looks like it's having a Tourette's episode or something. It's freaking out. What was the reason for you to buy such an absurd toy?
I thought she was cute. And I missed my dog. I think that's why I bought it.
Right. So instead of buying BB guns or swords or brass knuckles, which we all, everybody walked out of there with weapons. Everybody walked out of there with knives and guns and fucking swords, blunt objects. You chose a dog with Tourette's. You did not partake in any of the violent activities that went on.
No.
You had an aversion to the guns, I would say.
Well, if I'm going to talk about being anti-war and pro-peace,
Well, sometimes, to protect your peace, you need a peace.
Yeah, we've been protecting the peace with bullets for far too long.
Right. So what do you suggest? Dogs? Dog fights? Every country should have dogs.
Maybe
and they will fight on our behalf. Now, if there was a Hooters versus Twin Peak war, who do you have your money on? If the bloodshed went down, chicken bones were being lodged into people's necks, who you got your money on coming out on top?
Hooters.
Why is that?
Because it's ratchety.
It's ratchety, according to you. I didn't say it. So, Hooters, if you want to sponsor the show, I would absolutely love it. That would be great. We can do a nice Hooters background. We could interview the Hooters girls. I would love it. Make sure that you like. Make sure that you subscribe. We are on Spotify. We're on Apple's. Rich, what kind of plugs you got? Keep it to 3. Don't be like Justin and drop like 40, please.
Well, you can see the No Name Yet podcast on Rumble, on YouTube, and most likely on your favorite podcast app.
On your favorite podcast app. There you go. Peace and love. See you next time.